You see something that said, take a look at what happened.
It's IRIE News Network. Credible news you can trust. So today we are going to talk about Joe Biden's decision to not seek re-election and who is Kamala Harris, as well as Yohan Blake's dilemma.
The 81-year-old saying it was best for the country to stand down before endorsing his vice president, Kamala Harris.
A bombshell from the president.
With breaking news, President Biden has just announced that he is ending his re-election bid.
President Biden will step aside.
He is dropping out of the 2024 presidential race.
Joe Biden buckling under pressure and bowing out of the race, releasing a statement from COVID isolation. It has been the greatest honour of my life to serve as your president. And while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down.
So this is it. Democrats hail Biden's decision to not seek re-election as selfless, and Republicans urge him to resign. However, before getting into this article, I would just like to say that this is what you call an irony, because Joe Biden did not want to resign. He wanted to continue his run for that presidential office. However, he was forced to make that decision by persons in his campaign who were close to him. And if he had not made such a decision, then there were persons who were not going to back him financially anymore as it relates to his campaign. So now hailing him as selfless, I see that as paradoxical, because how can it be selfless when it was not his decision willingly to make? He was rather forced to make that decision. Anyway, this is what the article has to say. Democratic lawmakers hail President Joe Biden's historic decision on Sunday not to seek re-election, praising him as putting his country and his party before himself. Republicans call on him to resign from office, saying that if he could not run for another term office, then he's unable to serve as president. So what do you think? Do you think that even though it's just until November that Joe Biden should throw in the hat already, and that they should not give him even until November to stay as president? Tell me what you think in the comment section. So Joe Biden's announcement came after more than 2 weeks of Democrats urging him to withdraw from the race. So nearly 36 lawmakers had publicly called on him to end his re-election bid. Others had voiced concerns privately about what the ramifications would be for down-ballot Democrats if he remained in the race. When the president heeded those concerns, Democrats called it a selfless move. Wow, this even goes to show how dog eat dog and how brutal being a politician or living a politician's life can be, because the same people who actually forced him out of the bid are now the ones who are praising him and calling him selfless. Even though he did the right thing, I wouldn't say that it is selfless, because it is not something that he did of his own initiative. However, I also share the view that Joe Biden has been a good president. I don't know if I would say that he was a great president, but I will say that he has been a good president, and that we should not forget that he's the longest serving member, as well as I think the oldest American president. that there is historically. So he does deserve a feather in his hat for that, right? So Republicans have seized on Biden's poor debate performance last month to batter him as incapable of serving 4 more years. Now that he's out of the presidential election, many said he should resign his office too. Do you believe that he should resign his office, people? Do you believe that he should just stay until November? I believe that they can give the man until November. After all, we know that he is not running it by himself. He has his support group, and I believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is doing a great job at supporting him. So I believe that they should allow him to bow out with some level of pride and not force him out of the seat before time. And let us all admit that Kamala Harris has been doing an excellent job as vice president. She has been dubbed the female Obama, and you know that says a lot, because Obama's shoe is a very big shoe to fill. And if Kamala Harris should aspire to be president of America, she will be not just the second black or president of African descent or mixed descent, African Asian descent, but she will also be the first female president of the great United States of America. Kamala is being supported or backed by the Jamaican diaspora because she has beginnings in Jamaica. Her father is from Brownstone, St. Anne, and as a result of that, a lot of Jamaicans have high expectations of her. They are hoping to see she being successful in the presidential win. But as we know, that is going to be a great feat against her, because America is not used to having females being their president, whereas they are not so tolerant of people with a strong level of melanin, the melanated group. But let us see what will happen in the next couple of days, and we hope that Kamala, she will decide to throw in her hat in the ring, because I am sure that a number of persons are looking up to her and would like to see what it would look like for America to have a female president. Moving on to the next, Yohan Blake feels unappreciated by home country Jamaica. So Jamaican sprinter Yohan Blake has voiced his frustration over what he perceives as a lack of respect and understanding from his own country that he battles injuries and struggles with from. Blake, who has been grappling with a challenging season, failed to secure a spot in the upcoming Olympics despite expressing his desire to compete earlier this year. The 2011 World 100-meter champion's difficulties were highlighted on Saturday when he finished last in the 100-meter at the London Diamond League, clocking 10.23 seconds for 8th place. Following the race, Blake's frustration came to the fore. My head is all over the place right now, because what I wanted to do at Jamaica's trials, I didn't get to do, Blake told YouTube track and field social media program, The Inside Lane. I wanted to run my final Olympics, but I didn't get to. But the journey continues. Blake also expressed his disappointment with the lack of recognition from Jamaica, stating, "My own country, Jamaica, doesn't give me the respect, but I am happy because other people outside do. They appreciate me more than my own country," he said. "I'm happy that I've been able to crown elsewhere apart from Jamaica. So I'm just looking to continue doing what I'm doing until I'm happy to step away when it's time." All right, so this is my 2 cents. I do not believe that Jamaican people are unappreciative of Blake. Jamaican people love Yohan Blake. Number one, I believe that it was just unfortunate that Yohan Blake had to share that era with Usain Bolt, because he spent his entire career basically in Usain's shadow, and I think that has made him bitter over a period of time, because it would seem as if Jamaican people are not acknowledging his efforts, but we do, And we see his efforts, we acknowledge it, and we know that it is not easy to train and go there and go up against the best, right? But I think at this point, Yohan Blake needs to take a bow. I think coming last should be a sign to him that he needs to bow out gracefully and not stay in the Olympics, trying to run in fourth place, fifth place, and going upstream as if he's counting in the cash pot. I think Yohan need to bow out gracefully and not stay in there until he is bitter. What is happening to Yohan Blake reminds me a lot of Merlin Ottey, when she did so much for the Jamaican people and they were appreciative of her, but she did not know when to bow out gracefully. She continued even when she was getting up there in age and she should have passed the baton along. She just continued until she was running last and fifth and fourth. And then Jamaican people are not very tolerant of losers. It is just the truth. Jamaican people have very high expectations and they are not loyal to anyone. They are loyal to what you can do, how you can make your country proud. And that is just how it is with any sports, because as I would have seen, we would have had some great coaches, and when the coaches were getting their sides to win, and everybody was with them, and as soon as that side started losing, then the same Jamaican people or even other people in the world turn against those. So they would always say that coaches lose matches and sides win, because whenever there was a win, everybody hailed the footballers and the team. But when there was a loss, then the coach's head had to roll. So it is just the same thing with Yohan. Yohan need to understand that he has reached his peak and he's now going downhill. And instead of continuing to batter himself out there on the field, he need to bow out gracefully. Take a page out of Bolt's book. I think Usain Bolt had a little bit more stretch in him, but he didn't want to end his career being remembered as a loser. And I think that he did the best thing when he ended his career at the peak, because now he will always be remembered as a superstar, as a winner. And whenever there is a new athlete, people will always give him the benefit of the doubt to say, if Bolt was around, this person could never win. And that is what happened when you end your career as a winner. So Yohan Blake just need to step aside. I don't know if there's any comeback in him. He says that there's a lot of run left in him. Well, let's just wait and see. For today, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my video. And remember, there is always something to smile about.